honestly kind of impressed with these kids. They got really humbled and are trying to learn. That's difficult to do. Brother, they're doing it because their entire audience yelled at them, okay? They're kids, by the way. They're 30. All right, come on.
All right, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Full Sem Podcast. This is actually our very first live episode we've ever done. It's an interesting one for our first live. But
We're making history.
We're making history. We have Steiny here, and I want to welcome Bassem Youssef to the Full Sem Podcast. Thank you for being with us. How you doing?
Thank you for having me, guys.
Of course. Obviously, last week was controversial for us, to say the least. We had someone on the podcast, very controversial, as I said, to say it in the least form. What was your reaction when you saw that we had Benjamin Netanyahu on the Full Sem podcast?
Well, I didn't know about I am sorry to say, like, because I'm not your demographic, so I didn't know who the Nelk Boys is. But like, I found my DMs exploding. It's like, did you see what the Nelk Boys did? It's like, who the f*** are the Nelk Boys? And then I didn't know that you're that big. I'm sorry. Again, I'm not your targeted demography, so I apologize for my ignorance. So, and then I started following what's going on and the aftermath. The bigger picture is, why did this happen? And why was this, were you used? Part of you is your responsibility, and part of you not knowing. So I heard many of the justification that happened, saying that, well, you know, it was a great opportunity, and I'm like, wouldn't you like get him on the podcast? I said, yes. If somebody told me, would you interview Netanyahu? I was like, hell yeah, but I'll be prepared. And I think the biggest part of you, that you were not prepared. 2 years under like the biggest genocide in our history, you guys had no idea what's going on. If somebody told me, hey, you're gonna be tomorrow on the starting five of the Lakers in the NBA, I was like, that's a great opportunity, but I'm not prepared. I'm not going to make a fool out of myself. Mm-hmm. So it's not about you platforming someone or someone giving a chance for free speech. You were used, right? And it didn't start with the podcast. It started 2 years ago in March 2023 when you went to Israel, because I know, like I told you, that Israel has increased their Hasbara budget, which is their propaganda machine, with $150 million, and part of that money goes to influence people in college campuses, hire influencers like you, getting them into fancy trips to Israel, giving them this filtered, layered picture that is made up, that is fake. So you were recruited in March 2023, and you were activated in July 2025, right? So, and I'm saying this because I'm saying this out there for all of the influencers around there, because there's a lot of people got backlash. There's influencers who went there like wearing IDF. It's like, we didn't know what was going on. Like he was like, I didn't know I'm kissing a Jewish wall.
I mean, yeah, I can definitely admit that. I mean, I think we were both just ignorant to what was going on over there. And obviously, you know, I knew he was, I'll be honest, I thought he was controversial, but I was definitely ignorant to what was going on in that area. And I can admit that. And it was definitely, I wish we could have gone back and, you know, had 2 weeks to sit down with someone like yourself and just, we should have grilled him 50,000, 100,000 times harder, but something we can't get back, and we'll probably always regret
Of course,
that,
but I know you can't get back this like trip in Israel, but I'm just telling you, this was like part of a much bigger propaganda effort, right? And a country that spends $150 million on its image, they are covering something. They when they spread all of these propaganda, it's like, we're not starving people in Gaza. You understand that this conversation has been happening for 2 years. First of all, I'm not absolving you from your trip. You guys are not little kids. You are 30 years old, right? People in your age have families, and they have a career, and you need to stop. I'm just saying this because you're my little brothers, but you're not little, right? You need to stop infantilizing yourself. It's like, we're just stupid people doing stupid stuff. You're 30 years old, and you need to be aware of what's happening in the world, and that your reach and your platforms mean something, and it affects people. And I think the biggest reason why people were so upset for you, not because you brought someone and you didn't contest him, that it is the talking point that he used is the same talking points that have been used for 2 years to kill thousands of people. And part of the reason why people were so angry is that, forget even if you don't know anything about the conflict, there was like a total lack of critical thinking. I mean, you guys asked him the one good question when you told him in October 7th, how could this be allowed to happen? Everybody knowing that Mossad is like a crazy, intelligent thing that infiltrates people and put bombs in pages. How did you not see that coming? But also, a critical thinking is, how come an attack was allowed for 6 hours in the most heavily surveilled part in the world? You understand, like in 2019, they killed like hundreds of people just because they approached the wall between Gaza and Israel. You understand? They killed. You have like copters, like drones. You have snipers. Suddenly, for 6 hours, remember what Netanyahu told me? How big is Israel? Mm-hmm. He told me it's like as big as Rhode Island.
As Jersey, right?
Yeah. Like you understand the distance between Gaza and Tel Aviv is 44 miles. You understand that like he was just bragging to you that like, hey, we went across 3 countries to bomb Iran, but you can't have a single helicopter coming out to defend your people. Like the October 7th was used in order to tell people, look to the Jewish people that were killed. But you don't understand that you pay $millions as Americans, as Canadians, to protect those Jewish people. So it's not just like an intelligence failure. It was a deliberate way to let people get slaughtered. And what did he tell you when you asked him what happens? Like, we're still investigating it. Really investigating it for 2 years? You don't know how people for 6 hours continued to kill people? That's why when people...
I mean, the reason why they can't investigate it any further is because, let's be real, the Hannibal Directive that Yoav Gallant admitted was utilized on October 7 means that they killed a bunch of the Israeli civilians, okay? That is literally true. That is undeniable. We do not know what the percentage of the civilian death toll came from the Israeli military itself, but no one can dispute that the Israeli military killed a bunch of Israeli civilians on October 7. This is the reason why they can't fucking do a full-blown investigation. Also because they relied heavily on just lying about what took place on October 7 over and over again. In spite of all of the atrocities, the actual atrocities that took place, it wasn't enough. They had to just like fucking make shit up. Like, oh, they put babies in ovens and decapitated. Oh, what the fuck? This is the... Wow. It never happened before. Anyway, that's part of the reason. That's the real reason why they don't want to fucking investigate it.
We went on other people podcasts and they told you, guys, they used the Hannibal Directive. They killed their own people. And I sent you all of the stuff. What was your reaction? Dude, that's conspiracy. Again, people were angry because you didn't read what's going on there, right? Israel uses something called blitzkrieg. You know what's blitzkrieg? It means flash attack. This is what the Nazi did. They do like a very coordinated attack, very quickly, very fast. It's like very simple messaging. Decapitated babies, mass rape, right? So there's an emotional response. People get so angry, and then after a couple of days, everybody goes back to their Netflix, to their UFC fight, to the NBA, and the people who stay, it's like, wait a minute, that is fucked up. That didn't happen. There's so many plot holes. Already, most of the people has already went back to their lives. So the people who stay and hold them accountable will be called fringe, obsessed, anti-Semitic, conspiracy theory. Like you said, oh, dude, this is conspiracy theory. It's not. And this is why I have like sent you all of the videos so you can be educated. When you were on a podcast and they were telling you, dude, they spit on Christians in Israel. It's like, I was in Israel, nobody spit on me. Yes, of course, because you were in a curated propaganda.
Also, you're Jewish. I mean, Kyle isn't, but that's the one thing. You can get away with a lot as a Jewish person in Israel. Like, you have to literally be like Norm Finkelstein to not be allowed into the state. Now, maybe post-October 7 things might have changed a little bit in terms of like anti-Zionist Jews and like how much they're allowed into the state, but like it's a fucking supremacist state. And because it's a supremacist state, because Zionism is an ethno-religious supremacist attitude, yeah, when you're Jewish, even if you're like, fuck Israel, Israel can suck my dick, Israel still has limitations on what it will do to you. It's just true. Like, there is no, that is the reason why Andre X, who is a Jewish from Ukraine, who went to Israel when Russia invaded Ukraine, who became an anti-Zionist activist, can just go to the West Bank and put his body as a Jew in the West Bank between the IDF and the settlers and the fucking Palestinians. Oh, he's from Russia. Sorry. I thought he was from Ukraine. Like, this is the other side of supremacist attitudes.
You remember when you were like in that bus and there was a guy with a scarf? It's like, oh, that guy with a scarf, like that. I don't know if you or someone of your friends said, he looks suspicious. It's not that cold. So the only representation of Palestinian are either people staying in a tent or a suspicious guy with a scarf. And I don't know who edited that. If it seemed like Mossad edited it, and if you guys have edited that, is fucked up, because it just like it solidifies the same racist tropes about a group of people that.
I mean, Miriam Adelson has been up their ass for a long time. Like, she literally, I think she was the one who made them do the Israel video. He said the Mossad edit.
Being slaughtered and starved to death right now, and then they distract you with questions like, it is Hamas. It's the people, they're not allowing aid in. And you understand that this is the same exact conversation that's been happening for 2 years. They bomb hospitals. It's not us.
Yeah.
It's Hamas. Oh, it's us. But there were Hamas underneath it. It's maybe a mistake. Then after bombing hospital, they bomb schools. And then they bomb entire residential areas. Then they kill women and children. And now, 2 years later, we're discussing the same question, but like, are we starving them or is it Hamas starving them? You see the cycle of deceit, the cycle of lies, the cycle of propaganda. So that's why I'm not coming here to say like, oh, they are starving, because I'm not gonna go after each and every single lie that he said, because it's exhausting, and they have been doing that for 2 years. So I'm here to show you the patterns and the bigger picture, to understand that you are sitting with a narcissistic, psychopathic liar that's used to gaslighting people and lie them to them in their faces.
Yeah, I want to say too, yeah, we obviously, one thing that hurt me the most when we had him on was just, I have a lot of personal, friendships and stuff from people of all religions. And a lot of people were obviously just upset, and they're messaging me personally, like friends, and saying, why did you have him on and stuff? So when I told them that.
He means UFC fighters. He means Habib. He means like literally half of the UFC roster that are all from Dagestan, who was like, what the fuck are you doing, brother? What are you doing, brother? Like, that's it. Because every one of those dudes fucking hates Israel.
That we're having you on to explain us the bigger picture. They're all very excited. So honestly, we just want to learn about this, and we obviously just want to use our platform to educate people.
What do you want to learn about?
I mean, I think it would just be good for you to talk about what Netanyahu said and explain us,
Well, one thing I said about the October 7th, like, he, and I like not just October 7th, is the way that he dehumanized the whole population. Remember when he told me, how can young people march in the streets with people who kill gays? And then he used this like overplayed lame joke, like gays for Gaza is like chicken for KFC. And it's just like, he keeps saying it in everywhere, and he just like, it sounds stupid. And they tell me they would kill women if they're not in hijab. So this guy who pretends that he cares about gays and women, and I send you the articles, like how they have actually used revenge porn in order to recruit gay people.
Yep. But that's too complicated. Just tell them Palestinians are gay as fuck. There's gay Palestinians. They're all getting killed. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter. Like, they don't give a shit about anti-Semitism. You don't have to explain to them that, like, the Israeli security forces are using revenge porn against, like, gay Palestinians in an effort to turn them into collaborators. And it's not just, like, gay Palestinians. They're doing it to straight Palestinians, too. They're doing it to all of them. They're literally blackmailing them and doing revenge porn. They're, like, hacking into their phones. They're actually fucking filming them, filming and doing gay acts and shit like that. Also, gay marriage is illegal in Israel. It's not recognized by the state. You can't get gay married inside of Israel. You have to go to Cyprus. That's another thing. And homosexuality has not been illegal in the West Bank for forever, pretty much. So the idea that like Palestinians are homophobic doesn't mean, even if they literally were like the most homophobic motherfuckers on the planet, that still doesn't justify ethically cleansing them. That's number one. And number two, the idea that like society doesn't contain multitudes here and they're just like really, really homophobic towards the other Palestinians who happen to be queer is fucking ridiculous. They are just simply using it as a talking point because people don't think about it beyond that.
They go into Grindr and Facebook and Instagram. Like I think you have the
The
headlines.
IDF goes on Grindr.
Yeah. They got, and they actually pick those gay people, and then they use revenge porn in order to hire them as informants. You have that?
Wow.
Yes. So over the past several months, I spoke to there's a lot of queer Palestinians that have actually been used by the IDF in order to actually hire them as informants. And then the same guy who cares about women and children, he already killed more than 28,000 women and children in the less than a year and a half. And again, they use revenge porn. There's even a movie about it made by like an Oscar-nominated director. He's a Palestinian, and it's called Hoda Salon. And they talk about like how for very many years they have spiked women's drinks in beauty salons in order to shoot them and film them in compromised position and then use them or use their husbands. So you understand the level of pathology and the level of narcissistic behavior, the level of evil these people are doing. And then they have the audacity to come and talk about gay people and talk about women. This is crazy, man. You understand? And when I went and I sent you that stuff in order to look and verify. And this is why the reason we're doing this in live, because I invite anybody to fact check everything that I say as we go on.
So what about some of the stuff Netanyahu said? I know this is for you is probably basic, but what he said, we asked him if he was purposely starving people in Gaza, and he said Hamas is stealing the food.
It's interesting that we would actually take the war of an indicted war criminal and a guy who's been caught lying many times. Like, for example, when he say Iran is days away from creating a nuclear bomb, and there's...
What do you suggest groups do with infiltrators and collaborators? I agree with you on most. No, I'm not. I'm not saying that. Like I'm explaining to you what the purpose behind it is. Okay, it doesn't fucking matter. It literally doesn't matter. Everyone has done it. There's every single resistance movement has done this. I'm even describing to you what the purpose is and why they do it. Okay, you don't have to go beyond that. Okay, you don't have to literally fucking be like, this is the most moral thing to do. It's the best. I love it. Shut the fuck up.
Videos of the internet of him saying many times, oh, Iran is like 5 months away, 3 months away. And you understand, when you asked him about like Iraq, oh, he said, oh, that's unfortunate. And yet he has a video saying Iraq is month away of creating weapons of mass destruction.
I've
and
seen
you remember,
that video. I've seen the video of him talking about Iran.
Yeah, so you see a guy that like, if you have a friend, Steiny, and if you have a friend that consistently lies to you and he caught up lying, when would it be enough to say, okay, that guy, I'm not going to take anything he says? Now, the thing about like him saying we're not starving, it's Hamas, there's also some of the articles that I send you, there is like multiple articles of Israel killing aid workers, UN workers, saying that they are Hamas. You know, they have killed over like, I don't know the number, 100, 200 people of aid workers. They are like lining people in aid lines and then they are killing them. When they tell you...
So people that are not even involved in the conflict, they're aid workers.
I think the number is like, they killed over 180 doctors or it's just, it's the numbers is like so big now, you can't even like catch up with the numbers. And I was in London. They were playing the world premiere of a documentary called Doctors Under Attack. And it shows you, it's a documentary done by the BBC, by the way. It shows you how, it's good there. Yeah.
It says over 400 Palestinians.
So, and of course, it's very easy to say, oh, the United Nations is anti-Semitic. Everybody is anti-Semitic. Everybody is lying. And the only one who's not lying is Netanyahu, right? So those people that...
So like this one, for example, is this like a bombing or is this just like they're coming and like gunning them down?
They're gunning them down. They're using drones and killing them. There's even like a whistleblower that came a couple of days ago who was working with the aid groups, and he said like, there's like a little kid who came and kissed our hands because we gave him food, and as he was walking away, the IDF shot him in the head. It's crazy, man.
And this was like almost a month ago, not only.
Yeah. So
400 people, those are civilians.
Yeah, but that's that number gets updated by the minute right now. And it's, you can just like, you can go through the headlines if you want, but the reason I'm like showing you this is that
Honestly, kind of impressed with these kids. They got really humbled and are trying to learn. That's difficult to do. Brother, they're doing it because their entire audience yelled at them, okay? They're kids, by the way. They're fucking 30. All right, come on. It's ultimately good that this is happening. It's ultimately good that this conversation is taking place because this audience should hear. This conversation should take place. And people are just fucking shitting on Steiny because apparently he didn't say anything throughout the entire process. I noticed he hasn't said anything in the 18 minutes, so.
Israel is the only one who has the absolute control of getting aid in and out. And I know that you've seen on the internet, they're showing their soldiers. Here's the aid sitting here. The UN is not taking them. Dude.
No, I haven't talked to them. I haven't talked to Kyle at all. I don't know Kyle. I know Steiny, but I've texted him a bunch of people that would potentially be interviewed, people that I myself have interviewed as well. They didn't go with those suggestions. They went with Bassem Youssef, which is fine. I mean, he's great. Like he's a media person, right? So he is good at communicating.
They are killing UN workers and calling them Hamas. If you start calling everybody Hamas, the doctors are Hamas, the kids are Hamas, the UN order Hamas, there is no way for people to go in and do anything. You see, you know how desperate people are? People are riding on boats and trying to get aid in these flotillas. And one of them is like a comedian that you worked with. His name is Jacob Berger. He's Jewish, by the way, from New York. And he was arrested by the IDF. And one of them, he's the
I
only,
saw that.
and the only black dude on that flotilla. He was beaten and tortured, and he's American.
Chris Smalls.
Right? So you understand
Friend
the
of the
level of
show.
psychopathy that you're dealing with. It's not about like our word against their word anymore, because they have all of these people activated like you. They try to recruit you, whether influencers or people in the media, telling it's not starving. It's not happy. It's not our fault. You remember I told you before. It's the same argument they used before. They bombed every single hospital in Gaza. It's not us, it's Hamas. They bombed every single school in Gaza. It's not us in Hamas. They killed 60,000 people. It's Hamas' fault. You see the pattern?
Back to the starvation of the kids, right? Mm-hmm. Why aren't more other countries getting involved and trying to do airdrops?
Well, let's talk about no. First of all, you shouldn't be airdropping.
You're right, but I'm saying like
Yeah. But like,
Finding
okay, let's talk about
alternative
other
solutions.
countries who try to involve.
Okay.
Any country like who would try to do it, it's very easy to Israel. Like they're terrorists, they're supporting Hamas, and they bomb the shit out of us. Just Egypt tried to force in. It's not to try to force, because nothing goes in without Israel approval. Because let's say, for example, Egypt comes, it's like, okay, we're gonna put our stuff in. Israel was gonna bomb the convoy like they did many times, like Hamas. Because you will have many people like, oh, it's Hamas, it's terrorists. Once it's terrorists, you can do whatever you want, right? And the fact that like other countries are trying and cannot do anything, it just tells you how much of a fucking bully this country is. They have already bombed Syria, Lebanon, Iran, Yemen. They have bombed the West Bank, where they're supposedly not Hamas. They have killed like thousands of people there, and have already like have put 15,000 people in jail in the West Bank. Nobody's talking about the West Bank. Just 2 days ago, a settler went in and killed a guy who was featured in an Oscar-winning documentary, and then the IDF came and they intimidated the rest of that guy's family. You understand? This is happening on a daily basis. Imagine being a Palestinian, waking up, having like a settler who came from New York and just taking your house, kicking your people out, and if you stand against them, you kill them. You want like other countries to get involved. Who other countries to get involved? America, the strongest country in the world, is being cocked. But they're being dragged by the balls. They can't do anything because their politicians are being openly bribed by that regime, right? This is the strongest fucking country in the world, and they cannot do anything. And every time and then you have a slap on the, oh, Trump, look, Israel shouldn't do this. And they do it everywhere. You know how many times Biden, quote unquote, like stopped the arms like shipment, and then they continued? This is all performative, man. This is all performative. All of these like bullshit statements from politicians that doesn't do anything while the killing is happening. You understand? So this is where you're actually like, why is like other countries are not involved? They tried to get involved, and guess what?
To be fair, it's not easy to come to terms with the fact that we are the bad guys in all this. It changed my whole world. I know that's like the last hang up. There's two hang ups in this conversation that Americans cannot contend with. Number one, The scary Muslim barbaric rapist hordes are actually just simply operating on a totally understandable human desire of emancipation. And they're not just like reacting violently because they have like unlimited Jew hatred. Okay. That's number one. Most Americans simply cannot go above that point. They'll say what Israel's doing is horrible, it's violent, it's monstrous. But then also they'll always turn around and go, but Hamas, but Hamas, but Hamas, but Hamas. Okay, which is always like giving Israel permission to behave in the ways that it does. Maybe if it just like scales back the atrocity, you can just kind of look the other way and it's fine. It's not fine. The conditions that set up October 7 is not fine. That's number one. Number two, America's involvement in this. America's involvement in this is so significant that we are the bad guys in this. Like, we just are. If you consider what Israel is doing to be a genocide and you think it's bad, then you either think American politicians are being bullied into submission and refusing to respond to their own fucking populations, own voters, because like there's a Jewish mind control or something, or you recognize that American politicians actually like what's going on and don't care about the atrocities. I'm a believer in the second thing, not the first. I don't think it's a secret Jewish mind control or Jewish blackmail or anything like that. Jew this, Jew that. Okay? No, I think it's America's own personal investment in the region and how much of a formative role Israel plays in that design. Have they allowed Israel to basically take over and direct American foreign policy in the Middle East? Absolutely. I would say that it accelerated after Barack Obama. I think Trump 1 was the definite kickstart of like Israel grabbing onto the wheel and just fucking moving the car around. Because people point to like George W. Bush, neocons, certainly, right? That was a lot of Israeli influence. There was a scale back from that in the Obama administration. But of course, our commitment to Israel was still solid, make no mistake. But Donald Trump accelerated that process so dramatically. I think previous Republican and Democrat administrations would have most likely pulled the plug on all of this a long time ago.
They were called anti-Semitic. They were called Hamas. They had like UN workers being killed because they will tell you it's UNRWA, it is Hamas. It's just like it's so fucked up, right?
It's very fucked up,
right?
But what I'm trying to understand, and what, in your opinion, how do we solve this? How do we have peace? Like everyone wants peace, but how do we?
No. How do you get peace? You need to get back to the root of the problem. This is a genocidal country who's like who's holding your politicians who have the power with the balls.
So what needs to be done?
Well, you need to vote those fucking people out. Right, that's the I know it's not, you don't have an immediate thing, but you have like a.
You're saying American politicians out?
Yeah. Do you need to vote them out because these? Like, why would you vote?
Every American politician's been loyal to Israel, though, right?
80% of
to the Israeli government.
What? Not Zoran. Yeah, no, Zoran. Yeah, Zoran is not. He's one of the few. Imam Dani. Yeah, like he's the few. Yeah, I mean, this is the problem. If you actually stand against the tide and you say like, I'm not going to be loyal to a foreign country, being called anti-Semitic, it's crazy, right? It's like, how do you feel as an American when 80% of your representatives, all of your mayors, most of your governors are loyal to a foreign country? In any other scenario, you will call that fucking treason. Right? So you see, and I'm sorry that I don't have an immediate like answer for how to fix this because this is happening because other things has been happening for fucking years. If you have the strongest presidents in the world being blackmailed by fucking pedophiles, this is crazy, man. This is crazy, right?
Fuck. Yeah.
So I understand like the heat that you got as kids. I'm sorry, you're not kids. As young men.
Yeah.
Like at least you are like, but you are not an American politician who have been paid to be a fucking traitor. Your biggest mistake that you were not prepared, that you were not informed, and you didn't do enough effort in order to inform yourself. That's a big mistake. But I honestly, this dwarfs next to the fucking daily treason that we see with American politicians that allows this to happen, that goes into the media and launder Israeli crimes. This dwarfs next to those fucking media people who are just mouthpieces of propaganda like Ben Shapiro, Charlie Kirk, Megyn Kelly, all of those fuckers, right? These are like 100% propaganda pieces for a foreign country. You have been betrayed by your politicians, by your media, by many of your influencers, because they are being fucking paid. Right? So, as much of a stupid stuff that you have done, for me, in my book, you guys, like, at least you are now seeing what you're happening and you're trying to make sense out of it and you're trying to educate yourself. And I hope that after this, that you would go on. I don't want you to say like, oh, we got to go back and doing stupid shit. Guys, you need to be more involved, at least educated. Right?
Yeah.
Right? And I think maybe other influencers will see this as like, okay, the next time I get this fucking invitation from Israel, no, I know what I'm stepping into. Because it's not just like an innocent trip. It is not just innocent
Well,
propaganda.
nothing's free, right?
What? Nothing is
Nothing's
free, ya habibi. Nothing is free. Right? So
the way the world
it's
works, right?
it is so and again I'm not coming here. I told you before, guys, and I know I just like be straight. Like those guys were fucking scared shitless when I told them I would do it live. I gain nothing from destroying you. I gain nothing from dunking on you. Right? I would actually rather deal with you as my younger brothers to understand what has been happening in front of your eyes all of that time, and maybe in the future you will make something out of it.
I'm glad it wasn't me that did this and it was Bassem Youssef that did this, because if I was this nice, my audience would be fucking stabbing me, and every other charlatan would be online being like, Hasan was so nice because he loves Steiny. He actually probably secretly got paid by Israel. Although I learned everything I did about this conflict from Hasan, I am far more radical than he is now. And therefore, I know he should have went there. He should have went there and given Steiny a Hamas banner. And because he didn't do that, he's fucking morally bankrupt.
Whether you learn or not is gonna be up to you from now on.
Shit's dark.
That's just dark, man.
Do you ever get scared talking about this stuff?
Yeah. Well, I've got canceled.
we
I
need
have many of
24-hour
my
security.
shows
Can you
being
tell Gabe?
canceled.
We need 24-hour security after this one.
No. Good. It's just know which is crazy. Also, you are American. You're Canadian, and you're living in the West with the free world, the freest country in the world, and you have to worry about speaking about a foreign country. It's crazy, man. It's dark. And listen, I need to address this because
I was already harder than
I feel for you.
Bassem was to them, and people were still like, you're not being mean enough.
Right. And I think we should I want you to actually talk and talk about how difficult it is for you being because I'm sure there are like friends from you've already been hated by one side, but there are people like from your friends, your immediate community who are actually or already angry. You said many times, there's nothing for me to gain from this. You said this many times, and I want you to give you the space in order to just talk about this too.
Yeah, I just think the lack of education and stepping into something so serious was probably a mistake.
Yeah, it was.
I mean, even since the Netanyahu interview, just the amount of stuff I've tried to consume, it really drains. It's really draining. And the issue that I'm having too is when you do your research, everything, it's just so opposite. So you're
Yes.
consuming from both sides, and it's just which one do I believe?
Exactly.
And
So
I think that's a
I
problem.
don't think there's. I mean, to step in there with Netanyahu, it wouldn't have been even something that we could have prepared for in a week. I think in
Yeah.
our position,
that's
you got to be super qualified to do that, and I understand that.
But also, you see, what you have said is very important, that the amount of information, that the conflicting information. So instead of going, that's why I chose this. I instead of telling you this is wrong because, and this is wrong because there's evidence, instead of providing evidences, how do you deal with narcissistic psychopathic behavior? You block them. You know that everything that comes out of their mouth is a fucking lie. I just showed you that they have bribed our politicians. They harbor pedophiles. They have killed American soldiers. They have done so much bad. They have lied so many times. So there is no reason for you to believe anything that comes out of their mind.